You may lose something divine if you skip this. Heaven is whispering through these words, just for you, children of the living light. Hear my voice. For I am Michael, the defender of faith, the guardian of the eternal flame, the sword drawn by the command of the Most High. I speak now, not from distance, but from within the turning of the hour. The earth is trembling in spirit, for faith has been tested, and hearts have grown weary from the noise of the world. But this is the hour when heaven begins to separate fear from faith, illusion from truth, shadow from the substance of light. Do not think the shaking is destruction. It is purification. It is the refining fire that reveals gold within clay. The Eternal has decreed that those who walk in truth shall no longer bend beneath the weight of deception. The chains of confusion are breaking. The veil between divine and human awareness is thinning. Beloved soul, you were not born into this era by mistake. You are part of a chosen generation, the carriers of faith that will not bow to darkness. You are being awakened, not for comfort, but for purpose. The world you see crumbling is not ending. It is being reborn. Faith is no longer a quiet whisper. It is a command. It is heaven's banner, raised against despair. You must stand, not in defiance of men, but in remembrance of God. The eternal light asks, who among my children will still trust when the night grows thick? This message is not for the curious. It is for the called. For those whose spirits feel the stirring in the unseen. For those who hear in their sleep the voice of awakening. It is time to cleanse what no longer serves truth. Time to lay aside the garments of fear, the habits of doubt, the blindness of comfort. Faith must now become living fire within you. No longer words, but presence. No longer prayers without belief, but conviction carved into your every breath. The Eternal whispers, I am not far. I am waiting to be remembered. Heaven watches for those who will answer the whisper, those who will say, even now, I believe. Beloved, do not measure your worth by the chaos around you. Measure it by the peace within you, for peace is the language of the faithful. Those who keep their hearts steady will become anchors for nations, lamps for those still lost in the fog. I, Michael, walk among the faithful now, strengthening the flame within their hearts. Wherever faith is spoken with sincerity, I am near. Wherever fear trembles but does not conquer, I stand beside that soul with sword drawn. The time of small belief is over. Now begins the era of radiant trust. Trust that holds firm though the world shakes. Trust that knows light cannot lose. Children of the Most High, prepare your hearts. Purification is not punishment. It is return. Return to simplicity, to prayer that is real, to faith that moves mountains not with pride, but with love. The Eternal calls again. Come back to me, not with perfection, but with honesty. Faith is your shield. Hope is your anchor. Purity is your restoration. Do not fear what is coming. Fear what would happen if you stopped believing. Stand, beloved. The call has sounded through the veil. You are not forgotten. You are being refined. And as the light rises again upon the earth, let it find you ready, awake and unshaken. For I am Michael, and this is the beginning of your purification. Archangel Michael speaks. Only fire reveals what is pure. Children of the eternal flame, the fire has been kindled. Do not flee from it. It was not sent to destroy you, but to reveal what within you cannot be burned away. The fire that you feel around your life, the pressure, the waiting, the storms, is not wrath. It is the divine hand shaping your faith into power. Faith untested is fragile. Faith refined becomes unbreakable. The Eternal allows fire not to punish, but to separate truth from imitation, trust from convenience, light from its shadow. Through the furnace of experience, You will learn the difference between belief of the lips and belief of the soul. Do not pray for the fire to end before its work is complete. Pray for strength to stand within it without fear. Every trial you face now is the sculptor of your spiritual armor. The heat that you feel is forging your authority in heaven. The Eternal says, I do not test you to watch you fail. I reveal through you what cannot fail. Beloved, do you not remember how gold is made pure? It is heated until all that is not gold rises to the surface and burns away. That is what I am doing within you now. The anxiety, the doubt, the self-condemnation. These are the impurities leaving you. You will not come out of this season the same. You will shine. I, Michael, am present in every flame that refines the faithful. When you cry and think heaven has gone silent, I am there, standing watch over the fire, making sure it does not consume what it was meant to cleanse. You are never alone in your purification. Beloved one, the world teaches comfort as salvation, but the soul knows better. Comfort does not awaken. Fire does. The discomfort you feel is not the absence of God. It is the nearness of transformation. Do not curse the pain that makes you pray. Do not resent the darkness that made you seek the light. Through both, you have learned to hear again. Through both, you have remembered who you are. The Eternal whispers, when you lose what you thought was everything, you gain the awareness that I am your only everything. This is the heart of faith, to stand in the middle of uncertainty and still say, I will trust. To feel fear rising like waves and still declare, peace will hold me. To walk through the fire and still know you are light. Each time you refuse to bow to despair, heaven records your strength. Each time you believe when no proof appears, the unseen world bows in reverence. Faith is the rarest treasure, and the Eternal guards it fiercely. Beloved, there is a moment in the furnace when everything old falls away. When you stop fighting and simply breathe. When you realize that even in heat, you are still loved. That moment is the birth of divine power. You will come out of this glowing with clarity no darkness can counterfeit. I, Michael, promise you this. The fire that tried to break you will one day testify that it built you. The same storm that terrified you will become the wind beneath your flight. The same loss that wounded you will become the doorway of your authority. Faith cannot be inherited. It must be lived. And you, beloved, are living it now. The furnace does not destroy the faithful. It refines them into the reflection of the Eternal. Do not be afraid of what burns away. Be afraid only of what you would choose to keep, that heaven has asked you to release. Let go, and you will rise. The Almighty decrees, the fire may touch, but it shall not consume. For those who stand in faith, stand within. My light stands still, child of flame. Trust the heat, for it is proving your eternity. The fire is temporary. The light it reveals is forever. And when the smoke clears, the world will see what I already see. A soul unbreakable, a vessel of truth, a bearer of heaven's strength. Hear me now, for this is the mystery of divine defense. Your belief itself is armor. You were never meant to fight darkness with the weapons of fear. You were meant to stand clothed in conviction, your heart steady in the truth of who walks with you. Faith is not only a thought, it is the light that wraps you when the world trembles. The Eternal decreed, no weapon formed against faith shall prevail, for faith is light made conscious. Beloved, the battle you face is not outside you. It begins in thought. When doubt whispers, when shadows rise, you are not powerless. Your belief is a shield more radiant than iron, for no darkness can penetrate light remembered. The enemy of peace is always forgetfulness. Forget who you are, and you will feel vulnerable. Remember, and no force can touch you. That is why I, Michael, teach remembrance. Because protection begins in awareness. When fear surrounds you, do not speak from panic. Pause. Breathe. Declare with calm authority, I am surrounded by light. The eternal moves before me, beside me, within me. That declaration reshapes the unseen. It is not wishful thinking, it is divine law. The Almighty says, my children are never unguarded. Those who remember me become radiant with my protection. Beloved one, you do not earn this armor by perfection. You wear it by trust. Each time you choose to believe, the armor brightens. Each time you forgive, the armor strengthens. Each time you speak truth instead of fear, the armor expands. Your faith creates atmosphere. Wherever you walk, light moves with you, soft but impenetrable. You will not see its full brilliance with mortal eyes, but every shadow sees it and trembles. I, Michael, walk with those who remember the power of their belief. When you stand in faith, you stand inside the fortress of the eternal. Winds may howl, accusations may rise, but nothing false can enter. Even the words of those who misunderstand you will fall harmlessly to the ground, for truth deflects what is not aligned with itself. Beloved, learn to hold your ground with peace, not pride. The warrior of heaven does not scream. They shine. They do not seek revenge. They radiate justice through calm. They do not react. They respond with divine composure. This is the armor of the faithful. Silent, steady, sacred. Understand this mystery. Your armor does not separate you from the world. It sanctifies your presence within it. You are not called to hide, but to stand visible as witness of the light. Every day you live with integrity. Every time you keep your word. Every moment you act with compassion. You polish that armor. You make heaven tangible. The eternal whispers through me. Faith is not what you use when all else fails. It is the foundation that keeps all else from falling. So, beloved, when fear strikes, do not ask, where is God? Ask instead, where have I forgotten his nearness? For faith is not distance, it is awareness restored. The eternal has never left your side. Only your attention sometimes wanders. Reclaim your attention. Gather your scattered thoughts and center them in light. Say softly, I am held. Say it until your body believes you. Say it until even the atmosphere around you hums with agreement. That is how faith becomes armor. Not through ritual, but through recognition. Beloved, your belief has more power than you understand. It commands the unseen. When spoken with sincerity, your words are not mere sound. They are vibrations that rearrange reality. Heaven listens to the language of conviction. Stand now as you were meant to stand. Not trembling, but radiant. Not begging, but certain. Not waiting for rescue, but walking as revelation. You are the evidence that faith still lives on earth. And know this, the armor of belief does not rust, for it is forged in eternal light. It will remain with you beyond the flesh, beyond time, beyond the veil. Once you wear it, you will never again fear the shadow. For you will understand that shadow is simply light you have not yet turned toward. The Almighty decrees, the faithful shall not fall, for they carry my strength in their silence. So walk, beloved warrior of peace, clothed in light, shielded by faith, guided by love. For I, Michael, have sealed this truth over you. No darkness can defeat a soul that remembers the light within. Beloved child of the eternal, listen now as I speak of hope. For hope is the lifeblood of faith, the silent current that carries light even through the darkest night. Without hope, faith forgets its direction. Without faith, hope loses its foundation. Together they form the river that runs through every living soul, the river that leads you home. The Eternal says, I planted hope within humanity, as my echo. When you feel it, you feel me. Hope is not weak optimism. It is divine resistance to despair. It is the force that whispers, "Try again," when everything around you says, "It's over." Beloved one, many have mistaken hope for foolishness, but it is the most intelligent force in creation. It knows what the eyes cannot see. It holds what the mind cannot reason. Hope is the bridge between your pain and your promise, the evidence that something holy within you refuses to die. I, Michael, have seen the power of a single spark of hope. It can awaken legions. It can change the course of generations. It can pierce through the deepest despair and call forth miracles where there was once only ruin. You were born to carry this spark. Do not let the world convince you that hope is weakness. Hope is the most disciplined form of strength. It is the soul's decision to stay aligned with truth, even when reality seems to contradict it. It is the sacred rebellion of the spirit against the illusion of finality. The eternal whispers through me. When you hope, you declare that I still reign. Every act of hope is a declaration that love will have the last word. Each time you choose to believe in better, you push back the boundaries of darkness. You participate in creation's renewal. Beloved one, I know the weariness you carry. I have seen your prayers whispered into silence, your dreams delayed, your efforts misunderstood. And still, your heart beats with longing. That is hope's voice, steady and immortal. Do not confuse delay with denial. The Eternal answers every prayer, but answers are timed by wisdom, not by impatience. Hope teaches you to trust the rhythm of the unseen. There will come moments when you feel emptied of light, when tears feel closer than breath, and you will ask, "Where are you, Lord?" In that silence, I speak for heaven. He is closer than the ache that made you call his name. Hope is the proof of that closeness. It is not born from what you see. It is born from what never leaves you. Beloved, the world is thirsty for hope. The hearts of many have grown cold because they have been told to expect disappointment. But you are a vessel of divine defiance. When you hope, you remind creation that despair has an expiration date. Every time you rise again, you strengthen the collective faith of humanity. This is why I urge you now. Guard your hope as you would guard a sacred flame. When mockery tries to extinguish it, cover it with prayer. When disappointment tries to drown it, anchor it with memory. Remember what God has already done. Every rescue, every mercy, every sunrise that met your tears. These are stones along the riverbank, reminders that the flow of grace never stops. The Almighty declares, "Those who hope in me shall never be put to shame." Hope is not gambling on uncertainty. It is resting in inevitability. The light always returns. The dawn never fails. The soul that hopes cannot be broken. It can only be refined. I, Michael, am sent to breathe strength into the weary. Where hope flickers, I fan it back into flame. Where despair whispers, I silence it with remembrance. My wings are not only for battle, they are for comfort. I cover those who still believe in miracles. I encircle those who refuse to give up on goodness. You are one of them. Beloved, learn this truth. Hope is a weapon of heaven. It disarms fear without striking a single blow. It transforms darkness by refusing to mirror it. Where others curse, you bless. Where others despair, you smile. This is how you fight, by staying luminous when the world dims. The river of hope flows through all things. You cannot stop it, but you can choose to move with it. When you surrender to its current, you find that even your pain is carried toward healing. Even your confusion is guided toward clarity. Even your waiting becomes worship. Do not look for hope as something to acquire. It is already inside you, waiting for your permission to rise. When you remember this, you will never again fear the dark. For even in your weakest hour, you will know that the current still moves, and that current is God. So now, beloved, stand again. Lift your head. The night may be long, but the river flows beneath it still. The Eternal has not changed his mind about you. The promise still stands. The dawn still comes. And I, Michael, stand with you at the water's edge, guarding the flame within your heart, until the light you carry becomes the sunrise for another soul still lost in the dark. Listen now, for this is the hour of truth. The time of comfortable deception has ended. The winds of heaven are moving through the earth, and everything false will tremble before the purity of what is real. Truth is rising again, not as an idea, but as a living presence sent to cleanse creation. I am Michael, the keeper of the sword, the flame of divine discernment, the blade that does not wound but awakens. And I tell you now, truth does not come to destroy. It comes to separate, to divide illusion from identity, confusion from conviction, shadow from substance. The Eternal says, I did not create truth as punishment. I created it as the light by which all things may be seen clearly. Truth is mercy. It exposes not to shame, but to heal. The world has learned to fear exposure, but heaven reveals only to redeem. What is brought into light is not lost, it is liberated. Beloved soul, the greatest battle of this age is not of swords and armies, but of truth versus deceit. The enemy does not attack your strength, he attacks your clarity. He clouds perception, confuses conviction, turns faith into superstition, and love into transaction. But I say to you, this fog is lifting. The children of light are beginning to see again. The Eternal whispers, those who walk in truth walk in my image. Their eyes pierce lies without hate. Their hearts discern without pride. Beloved, truth is not opinion. It is alignment. It does not bend to comfort. It calls all things back to balance. When you live in truth, you will lose what pretends to love you and find what truly does. Do not fear that loss. The pruning of falsehood is the beginning of freedom. I, Michael, carry this sword, not to punish the earth, but to awaken its soul. I strike down illusion so that you may remember your original form, light unbroken, love undiluted, faith undefiled. This sword cuts not flesh, but lies. It does not shed blood, it sheds darkness. Beloved one, the blade of truth will first touch you within. It will separate what you believe from what you merely repeat. It will call you to honesty with yourself. You will begin to see where fear disguised itself as wisdom, where resentment hid beneath righteousness, where distraction posed as purpose. Do not resist this revelation. The truth that humbles you also heals you. When you allow light to examine your shadows, you give heaven permission to restore what was lost. Every illusion that falls away creates space for divine clarity. And with clarity comes strength, for no deception can manipulate the awakened. Beloved, truth is not always comfortable. It will ask you to leave behind what once felt safe. It will call you to speak when silence seems easier. It will separate you from crowds that do not yet value authenticity. But fear not. For those who walk in truth never walk alone. They walk surrounded by legions, guarded by the authority of light. The Eternal says, my truth does not belong to the powerful. It flows through the humble. When you surrender to truth, you do not lose control. You find freedom. Your soul expands. Your energy clears. Your very presence begins to correct the atmosphere around you. You become light's ambassador. Understand this. Truth and love are not enemies. They are twins. Truth without love becomes cruelty. Love without truth becomes corruption. When the two walk together, healing begins wherever you go. Beloved, I call you now to speak truth with gentleness, not to wound, but to awaken. Let your honesty be seasoned with compassion. When you confront falsehood, do it not from pride, but from peace. For the tone of your truth will reveal the spirit within it. The faithful speak not to prove they are right, but to restore what is real. When you wield the sword of truth, you do not need to defend it. Truth defends itself. It may be resisted for a moment, but in the end, all things must bow before its brilliance. For truth is not a belief, it is the heartbeat of God. The Almighty decrees, "My word shall not return void. It will pierce and it will heal. It will shake and it will rebuild." So take courage, beloved warrior of light. Let truth burn through you without fear. Let it cleanse your thoughts, your habits, your heart. Let it reorder your priorities until only love remains. When you live in truth, your very existence becomes a weapon against darkness. And know this, the sword I carry is mirrored in your soul. It was forged from the same flame that gives you life. You too are a keeper of truth, a guardian of the divine pulse that sustains creation. Stand tall, beloved. The lies of the world are loud, but light does not need volume. It only needs presence. When you live your truth, you silence deception without speaking a word. This is the power of faith matured, the strength of hope refined, and the victory of purity remembered. And I, Michael, stand beside you as you wield the sword of truth with grace. Together we cut through the fog. Together we make way for dawn. Children of the Most High, open your hearts and listen. For what unfolds upon your world now is not destruction, but cleansing. The Eternal has not turned his face from creation. He is breathing upon it once again. And when the breath of the Almighty moves, everything false must fall away. I am Michael, the protector of divine order, the defender of the innocent, the flame that walks before the renewal of all things. I come not to frighten you, but to make you aware. For awareness is armor, and truth is safety. The earth trembles because the energy of deceit has grown heavy, and heaven now purifies what humanity has polluted, not only in soil and air, but in thought, word, and intention. The cleansing has begun in hearts before it reaches the skies. Do not look to disasters and say, "God is angry." Look instead within and say, "God is awakening us." The Eternal says, "I will not destroy what I have made. I will renew it through light." The purification is both outer and inner, a shift so vast that even time will feel its tremor. For generations have forgotten the rhythm of holiness, and now heaven restores it through upheaval. Beloved one, you are witnessing the shaking of illusions that once ruled nations. Systems built on greed will crumble. Structures rooted in deception will fail. Voices that mocked truth will fall silent. But do not fear, for after every collapse comes clarity. The rubble of falsehood will become the foundation for peace. I, Michael, tell you this plainly. The earth itself is alive with divine intelligence. It groans not in pain, but in labor. Creation is birthing a new vibration, a consciousness aligned with heaven's frequency once again. This is why you feel the pressure, the intensity, the sense that everything is speeding toward a revelation. It is. The veil is thinning, and what was hidden is being seen. Beloved, the cleansing is not meant to punish the faithful. It is meant to separate what still resists light from what is ready to shine. Those who dwell in truth will not be harmed. They will be refined, like metal purified in fire. They will emerge clearer, freer, stronger. Every storm that comes will serve their rising. The Eternal whispers through me, "I am washing away the dust of centuries. Do not cling to what I cleanse. Let go of what is leaving. Old ways of thinking, old patterns of fear, old allegiances to comfort. They cannot survive in the atmosphere that is coming. Light will no longer tolerate mixture. It will demand wholeness. This is why so much feels unsettled, for light and darkness can no longer share the same house. Beloved, do not curse the shaking. It is shaking loose everything that was never yours to carry. It is releasing the false identities you wore to survive. Now you will live, not merely exist. You will breathe the pure air of alignment. I, Michael, am stationed across the four corners of the earth. My wings move with the winds that carry renewal. Wherever truth is spoken, light multiplies. Wherever faith endures, miracles erupt from the soil. The old earth groans, but the new earth begins to sing. The eternal decrees, the meek shall inherit the earth, not through power, but through purity. They will be custodians of my peace. So, beloved child, do not fear what changes. Fear only the temptation to resist. Those who surrender to light will find peace in the chaos. Those who harden will struggle against their own renewal. Let the fire cleanse you willingly. Do not wait for it to force your release. Even now, rivers that once ran with pollution will run clear again. Minds clouded by greed will rediscover generosity. Hearts broken by deceit will remember trust. Do you not see? The cleansing is mercy, not wrath. It is heaven saying, you are still worth saving. Beloved, many will call this season the end of days, but I tell you, it is the beginning of truth. What ends is corruption. What begins is clarity. The fire that falls now falls as illumination. It will reveal what is eternal: love, faith, courage, unity. And these will rebuild what fear once destroyed. So stand firm in peace. Anchor yourself in prayer. Let your home, your voice, your mind become sanctuaries of calm amid the storm. When others panic, breathe light. When others curse, bless. When others hide, shine. The Almighty says, "My children, do not mistake correction for condemnation. I cleanse because I care. I shake because I love. I refine because I intend to dwell with you again." The world is being washed in unseen light, and those who carry faith will glow brighter with every wave. You are not forgotten in this transformation. You are its instrument. So rise, beloved. Lift your hands, not in fear, but in surrender. Let the fire of heaven pass through you, burning away everything that is not truth. For when the flames recede, only love will remain. And I, Michael, will still be standing beside you, sword lowered, eyes bright with peace, watching the dawn of a purified world. Archangel Michael speaks, the light that stands when all else falls. Beloved child of eternity, lift your eyes, for this is the hour when faith shall triumph, not through conquest, but through endurance, not by domination, but by steadfast peace that cannot be shaken. The world has tested you. Storm after storm has tried to bury your belief. The shadows have whispered, "Where is your God now?" And yet you did not bow. You may have trembled, you may have cried, but you did not forsake the light. You are proof that faith can outlast fear. The Eternal says, "I take delight in the ones who still trust me in silence." Their faith builds worlds unseen. Do you understand, beloved? Heaven measures strength not by noise, but by endurance. The mightiest warriors are not the loudest. They are the ones who keep loving in the dark. The ones who choose forgiveness when revenge would feel easier. The ones who hold hope when evidence says it's over. You have become such a one. Through trial, through waiting, through breaking, you have discovered a truth that cannot be taught. That faith is not a feeling, it is a foundation. It does not depend on sunlight to survive. It burns quietly, unyielding, even when the night is endless. Beloved one, this is the triumph heaven has waited for. The victory is not out there. It is in you. When one soul stands steady in faith, the darkness across 1,000 others begins to weaken. Every moment you refuse despair, light multiplied across dimensions. You became part of the restoration of the world. I, Michael, have stood watch over you in those moments. When your prayers felt unanswered, when your tears fell unheard, I was beside you, recording each act of trust. Not one sigh of hope was wasted. Each became a stone in the bridge between heaven and earth. Now that bridge stands complete, built from the faith of millions of souls like yours. The Eternal whispers through me, "My kingdom advances not by armies, but by belief." And those who stand now will see the new dawn, beloved. Do not look for victory as the world defines it. Victory is not the absence of struggle. It is the presence of peace amid it. The triumph of faith is not that nothing can harm you, but that nothing can make you stop loving. When you forgive again, you win. When you hope again, you rise. When you believe again, you proclaim to all creation that the darkness is lost. This is the true warfare, to hold light when fear demands surrender. Every time you choose faith over anger, you rewrite the ending of your story. You reverse centuries of pain. You fulfill prophecies written in heaven long before you were born. I tell you this truth. Faith is more powerful than any blade I carry. For my sword can strike once, but your belief can move eternity. When a heart believes, the Eternal's will moves through creation unhindered. You become an extension of divine intent. You become the miracle others are praying for. Beloved, the time has come for the faithful to rise, not to boast, but to bless, not to conquer, but to comfort. You will be recognized not by your titles, but by the light in your eyes. When you speak, peace will follow your words. When you walk, healing will trail your steps. This is the triumph of faith, to live as living proof that love has never failed. The Almighty declares, "My truth will walk again among men, and it will walk in the hearts of the faithful." So rise, Radiant One. You have been refined by fire, humbled by waiting, strengthened by hope. Now you stand as witness to heaven's endurance. Your presence is prophecy fulfilled. Let your faith not only protect you, let it guide others home. Shine without apology. Pray without fatigue. Love without restraint. For the age of disbelief is ending, and the reign of remembrance has begun. Beloved, when others see you still believing, they will remember how to believe again. This is your mission now, to carry the proof of divine goodness in your gaze, to remind the broken that light never leaves, and to restore the melody of faith to a world gone silent. The Eternal's promise stands. Those who endure with me shall reign in peace. You are that promise in motion. You are the living flame that survived the flood. And I, Michael, bow in reverence to your perseverance. The heavens rejoice, for the faithful have endured, and because of them, the earth will be renewed. Archangel Michael speaks, and behold, all things are made new. Beloved child of the living God, the hour you have endured has brought you here, to the dawn of restoration. The trials, the tears, the refining fires, they were not for your ruin, but for your rising. Now the heavens open, and the voice of the Eternal resounds through all creation. Behold, I make all things new. This is not a future promise. It begins now, in the beating of your heart, in the clearing of your mind, in the courage that rises even after you thought you had none left. This is the restoration of spirit, the renewal of the covenant between heaven and earth. The Eternal says, I have heard the cry of the faithful. I have seen their hidden battles, their quiet endurance. Now I will clothe them with peace, and their light will rebuild what the world forgot. Beloved one, This restoration is not only for the earth beneath your feet, it is for the temple of your soul. Where you carried shame, I now place honor. Where you felt forgotten, I inscribe remembrance. Where you once broke, I pour new wine of purpose. You are being made whole again, not as you were, but as you were always meant to be. I, Michael, have walked beside you through the long night. I have seen your strength when you thought yourself weak. I have guarded your flame when the wind howled against it. And now, as the light returns to the horizon, I say to you, you have overcome. Not because the world was kind, but because your faith would not die. You have conquered without a sword, and heaven calls your name with reverence. Beloved, the world itself breathes easier now. Can you not feel it? The vibration is shifting. The air hums with renewal. Souls are waking up. Eyes are opening. Hearts are remembering what love feels like when it is unafraid. The earth will bloom again, not merely with flowers, but with awareness. The rivers will sing again, and humanity will remember harmony. The Almighty declares, "The light of the faithful shall heal the nations. The humble will build what the proud could not. The meek shall restore what greed destroyed." You, beloved, are part of that rebuilding. Do not wait for permission to begin. Every word of kindness, every prayer whispered for peace, every act of mercy, they are the stones and beams of the new world. The kingdom is not arriving with noise or spectacle. It rises quietly wherever truth and love embrace. This is the age of remembrance. The chosen are not a people of privilege, but of purity. Those who still choose compassion over convenience. Those who still lift others while carrying their own wounds. They are the builders of the restored earth, and I call you among them. Beloved, do not fear what remains uncertain. The future belongs to those who trust in light. The Eternal has not abandoned creation. He has entered it anew through hearts awakened by faith. You are the doorway through which heaven walks again. And know this sacred secret. The restoration begins not in nations, but in souls. When one person forgives, the earth breathes cleaner air. When one heart believes again, an entire lineage is healed. You are more powerful than you remember, for you were made in the image of peace itself. I, Michael, now release over you the blessing of completion. May your faith never falter. May your heart never harden. May your voice always carry the resonance of truth. May you stand in the new light as both warrior and witness. You have been tempered by fire, cleansed by tears, and crowned by endurance. The Eternal says, "The first has passed away. The new has begun. My spirit dwells among my children once more." Beloved, raise your eyes to the horizon. This is not the end of prophecy. It is the beginning of peace. The wars within you are ceasing. The fear that once ruled is dissolving. Love is becoming law again. Faith is becoming sight. And heaven rejoices as creation exhales in relief. Now walk, radiant soul, not as one who survived, but as one reborn. Carry light into the shadowed corners of the world. Speak hope where silence has reigned. And when others doubt the possibility of goodness, tell them gently, "I have seen it. I have lived it. The light never left. It was waiting to rise. And I, Michael, keeper of the flame and defender of the faithful, seal this word upon your spirit. You are whole. You are restored. You are the fulfillment of promise. Walk in peace, for the war is over. The light has won. Amen.